We are being told that the judiciary behaves so badly that I, Moshood Kashimawo-Olawale Abiola, should be penalized for his conduct. It is incredible.
When you mention MKO in Nigeria, everybody knows you're talking Abiola, that famed Nigerian politician and philanthropist who won an election but was denied his mandate and died in prison. Well, fast forward 2018, we have another MKO, but not an Abiola. We have him not in politics, but you guessed right, entertainment.
MKO is a brand you want to know anytime you visit Dubai, because he's an African Nigerian, to be precise, making us proud out there in Dubai. He's a musician. He has shows out there in Dubai. He has an art show. I've seen some of the pictures from that show, and it's very, very impressive to see an African out there in the Arab world making us proud and doing things that we can actually, point to and say, this is one of our own. And I am blessed to have him here in Ghana. He's flown all the way from Dubai to Ghana. So we get to have a conversation about what he does in Dubai. Let's talk about the Nigerian space. And let's see how well he knows Ghana, because I noticed he's wearing a 1957 t-shirt by KOD that's got a Ghana flag by the side. So it's great to have a conversation with you.
Thank you very much for having me in the studio. I appreciate it.
Okay, so one of the things that, got my attention was your name, MKO. Having lived in Nigeria, I know of one MKO.
Right.
You know that MKO?
I do know that.
Tell
MKO.
me about that name too.
Well,
Let's see what we're
we are on the same page.
So
I reckon you're talking about MKO Abiola, the late MKO Abiola.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I saw the name, I'm like, MKO Abiola comes to mind. Why MKO?
Well, MKO is my initials.
Okay.
So it's obviously an abbreviation of my full name, which is Maduabuchi Kingsley or
take your
Paul.
time to say that one.
And each time I go for interviews, this happens.
Okay.
So and then the idea was, how do I have my name as a brand and make it easier for people to relate to me? And I figured the best way to just go about it is to use my initials, which technically is my name.
Okay.
And I've come to realize that, my Ghanaian friends are calling me Kojo now.
Oh, really? Are you a Monday boy?
Because I'm born on Monday. So
Okay.
so for my Ghanaian fans,
You're Kojo.
Nana Kojo.
You've added Nana to it. That's nice. I'm born on Monday as well, so it's nice. So
Maduabuchi Kingsley Okpo, a Dubai-based Nigerian Afro-pop and R&B musician who prefers the initials MKO, says his brand association with the late politician does little to distract, subtract, or even improve his brand.
Again, when you tell people that you're MKO, is there a reason for them to constantly ask you what I asked you about MKO Abiola? Is there a clash in identity? Do people begin to ask you whether you're related to him and all that? Or has he helped in pushing the brand name?
Well, I think it's a very good conversational topic because as a Nigerian, MKO Abiola being an icon that he is something that people would definitely relate to when they hear me talk about myself, MKO. So yeah, I think I wouldn't say it's helped the brand, because in the end it's my name, but it does get people's attention. So which is great, and I'm pleased I went with MKO because I couldn't think of any other way. I wouldn't go about Maduabuchi, which is my name, and I'm proud of it. But when I travel and I try to get people to say that, is a bit, difficult for them, which is why I went with MKO. And when I thought about MKO, it was just about thinking about different, brand name and all of that. And then MKO came up, and one day someone said to me, MKO Abiola. Wow. That's when it clicked, and we're like, okay, here we go. It's a catchy name then. Yeah, so it gets people's attention, and it makes a huge difference. So it makes people want to know more why I chose MKO. And yeah, so I guess in a way it helps by making people wanting to know more. Yeah.
Okay, so As a Nigerian living in Dubai, organizing shows, a musician for that matter, I read your profile talking about how you perform with the likes of D'banj and some other Nigerians, and I'm like, you're away in the Middle East. How did you even think that you could start something like what you have as an African?
Well, I would say this as I wouldn't say this as an African. I would say this as an individual. You know, we all have different things that pushes us, that drives us. And for me, I believe in when you're passionate about something, nothing should ever limit you, regardless what your background is. So I never limited myself. I knew what I wanted, and I went for it. There were challenges. Being an African, definitely. Being Nigerian, also, do raise an eyebrow. But then when I go about talking about my platform, Art Fusion Night, and what it represents and the passion behind it, again, it gets people's attention. And I get no sometimes as an answer, but then that no becomes more of a driving force for me to want to get a yes from someone else, so that person who told me no can see me doing the things that I love and the things I do. So yes, it was challenging, but the drive is the end result.
I'm tempted to ask if scamming was one of the biggest challenges you got as Nigerian out there. And so, oh, this guy's a scam. It's a fraudster, things like that.
No, because I've lived in Dubai long enough to know quite a few people.
Okay.
And I leveraged on the...
Now, how long have you?
I've lived there for almost 11 years.
Oh, wow.
So I've leveraged on my, my networking skills and my network. And I tend to talk to people who already know me, or people who know someone that I know, which sort of gives me that extra, that advantage over most people. And I do have a lot of African friends, a lot of non-African friends, and I have colleagues that I work with. So all of these, I just sort of had to put into one basket and see how I can use the opportunities within my reach to get the things that I want. So scam,
not at all for you.
Was not the.
You're very lucky. I'm sure you know that you are one of the very lucky Nigerians who doesn't get to be hit in the face with 419, fraudster, scam, and things like that. I'm sure you can tell that you're one of the lucky ones.
I'm not. I wouldn't say lucky, because I do get that. Whoa. In the sense that not everyone know who MKO is, right? Not everyone knows who I am. So, I can assure you that there would be a couple of people who has that mindset that he's Nigerian, he's definitely he could be a scam, or if he's not, someone on his team is probably one. But that is the mindset I am trying to change. When I get invited to forums and people invite me to talk about Nigeria as a country, what it represents, I talk about the positive side, because I am not the only one doing things in Dubai who is Nigerian. So I tend to use those other people as as examples to people who perhaps do fraud. And then those who do fraud would understand that you could do other things. You could use the opportunities within your reach, being in a place like Dubai, which is a land of opportunity. Do you get me? So I think, in a nutshell, it is possible that a few people must have tagged me that way, Nigerian fraudster, but it is left to me now to change. Yeah, to change that mindset.
Let's talk about your music. What do you call the kind of music you do? What genre is it?
I'm an Afro pop singer, songwriter, and R&B singer.
Okay.
So in Dubai, I'm known as an R&B singer, but
Is it because R&B does well out there?
No, it's because I've always had love for R&B. As a songwriter, I tend to play with words. And I can express myself more when I write, something soulful, that everyone can relate to. But Afrobeat, on the other hand, is what we need, considering everything that is going on here and there. People need a reason to want to jump up and dance to the beat. regardless whether you know what the artist is saying or not, you know. And as a songwriter, it's left to me to find ways to incorporate my writing into Afrobeat and still maintain my R&B, the love I have for R&B. But yeah, I hope I answered your question. But yeah.
Which pays where you find yourself? Because you're introducing something to them. Someone say that Afropop is African, so maybe that's an agenda that most Africans will try to push, you know, in places like that. But if you're doing R&B, which of them do you think that the people are accepting? Which of them do you think they love? Which of them do you think projects who you are?
Right, my music in general projects who I am,
As
Afrobeat and R&B, as an African. So it's like when you see me, instantly you see an African, right? R&B anyway is something borrowed. Afrobeat is our true identity, isn't it? So what pays more between R&B and Afrobeat? I would say my music pays. Because I give you R&B, you enjoy it. I give you Afrobeat, and you enjoy it. So it's me being invited as MKO to an event, and I perform my Afrobeat, you know, songs and as well as my R&B. When I go to places and you have to choose for me, then I don't accept the gig. Because that's the only way I can push for people to start accepting Afrobeat. Now, I've performed in Abu Dhabi, I've performed at the Formula One, I've performed, I don't want to drop, you know, names, but I've performed in places where people were, you know, perhaps 10% of the people who were there were Africans and the rest were non-Africans, but they were dancing to Afrobeat. So how else do I, you know, introduce Afrobeat to these people that it's new to, right? So either way, I'm getting paid Afrobeat or R&B.
Apart from the successes gained with his art in a foreign land, he's been able to pioneer an art event platform in Dubai dubbed the Art Fusion Night, which showcases untapped talent from around the world, entertaining a diverse crowd.
Well, I've seen people, you know, do great artworks on your platform. And as a musician, yes, it's a creative thing, but I'm wondering why you thought of the artists as well, that giving them the platform to showcase their designs and all that. Why did you think of a thing like that?
Because someone else gave me a chance when I needed it, right? I've lived in Dubai for almost 11 years. As an artist, there aren't that many platforms that gives me an opportunity to showcase myself, right? And when I got that opportunity from someone at one point in my life, that gave me an opportunity for people to see me. It goes beyond social media now, right? On that platform, I was able to perform to hundreds of people, right? Now, how can I continue that trend? An opportunity was given to me. How do I extend it to someone else? That is where Art Fusion Night comes into play. There is also a selfish side to it because I also get to perform on Art Fusion Night, right? And the reason I was performing at Art Fusion Night was because majority of people who attend Art Fusion Night were people who have known me now as a brand. So I needed my voice, my face to grow Art Fusion Night. So we've had 6 editions so far. The 7th one, I didn't perform because now it's no longer about MKO being involved. It's about the brand. It has grown, and people can feel comfortable coming to see up-and-coming talent because they know, first, the people we showcase have to have the talent. It's not just about giving them an opportunity. So an opportunity was given to me because I can proudly say I have the talent, so I have to give someone else the opportunity. Now, the only difference between the platform which I had is mine covers everything: art, music, fashion, poetry, comedy, every form of art you would find in one place. That's the only difference for me, you know. So in a nutshell, it's because I needed an opportunity. I never got one on time, but someone gave it to me, and that led to me extending that opportunity to other people.
Is Art Fusion commercial? Do you do it, you know, people come in, or it's for free? How do you go about the activity, the night?
Well, it is commercial. It is commercial because, one, if a talent's craft is not if you can't commercialize a talent's craft, then why would people be interested in coming to see such people, such talent. I'll give you an example. For me personally, if I have to invest my money to push a brand and push a specific talent, I have to give my audience a reason why they have to pay to come and watch this particular talent. So if I'm putting my money on it, then that gives you that level of comfort, knowing that someone is going out of his way to showcase someone, then I should be able to bet my money on it. Like I said, initially it was about MKO being behind the brand, and now because there is some form of values added on the brand, people could trust Art Fusion Night. So now Art Fusion Night had grown to a point where it could sell itself. So people know that they would come and watch an up-and-coming and not be bored, right? And those up-and-coming gets to sell their art pieces, gets to sell their fashion, their clothes on the platform. Artists get to auction their paintings. So in a way, even though the platform is commercialized, there is something for the artist to take with them, right? I've had artists showcase on Art Fusion Night, and they had the opportunity to be involved in the African Global Business Forum, which was backed by, the ruler of Dubai. So this is a big opportunity. I've had artists showcase on my platform, and he got to perform at the F1 because of me, and he got to perform at other platforms where because you have to invite people from different brands to come and see. So if I had that opportunity, I probably would be much bigger than I am at the moment. So there was a vision around it, and I'm glad we're where we are at the moment.
Are these just black or African up-and-coming stars, or you have people from elsewhere, being part of the Art Fusion Night?
As far as Art Fusion Night is in Dubai, it has to be diverse, because that's what Dubai as a place represents, diversity. If I just do an African platform, it doesn't make me any different from anyone else. So it's called Art Fusion Night because we give you a taste of every culture, every background. So we've had a Latin rapper on the platform. People didn't understand what he was saying, but the music was great. But then the Latinos who were there got a taste of their own, right? We've had an Emirati poet, someone from the UAE, although she spoke in English, right? We've had Lebanese, we've had Sri Lankans, Indians, Pakistanis, everyone. We've had a Russian artist who paints African symbols and African, like this pen, for example, the person who did this is Russian, and this is Nigerian flag, and that's the mask of Edo, So I'm just saying, like, it's Art Fusion Night for a reason, so people can come and feel among. And there's something else we don't do on Art Fusion Night. We don't do the table booking, the status, like, oh, I'm going to come and show off at Art Fusion Night. Everyone pays the same. If you buy champagne at Art Fusion Night, there is no sparklight and all that stuff. You sit down quietly and enjoy your drink. So there is a brand value to Art Fusion Night, So yeah, if you come, it's a general thing. Everyone gets a taste of Art Fusion Night. The next one is in September, last Friday in September or the first Friday in October.
You get to have international media come, around, or because you're doing this in Dubai, it's just for folks there, or do you if you don't, do you intend to make it something as huge to become a tourist attraction, or something the tourists can fly from all across to come witness?
There is a vision behind Art Fusion Night. There is a growth value behind Art Fusion Night. I don't want to talk much about it. I believe in slow and steady wins the race. Having said that, we have had international media house cover Art Fusion Night, people from Tanzania specifically. And the reason was because they have a TV station based in the Middle East. And we've worked with international designers who aren't based in the UAE. So what we do is we tend to work with such people as mentors, like now artists on the other side, like the designer, for example. They come, they talk about how they've managed to do it on their own, etc., to where it is. And we have a few people even in Ghana here that I've been talking to who are looking into showing up to Art Fusion Night at some point. Timings is always the problem sometimes. But yeah, to answer your question, Art Fusion Night is already an international brand because of fusion of art and the way it's structured. Yeah.
Thank you very much, MKO. I'm sure that we can have this conversation on and on, but what I want to happen is that JoyNews Multimedia will be invited in September. You said the last week in September.
Last Friday of September.
Last Friday
of September, or the first Friday in October. Yeah, and again, because it's a platform that helps the underdog to grow, media house should not feel left out. They should be willing to take a step and say, hey, we're coming to support one of our own. Get on a flight and come see what we're doing.
Yeah.
Let's
see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Now that we are talking, you never know what could happen.
But what does MKO makes about his home country?
This, someone who, for lack of a better word, I don't want to use chaos, but Nigeria has been in crisis. And from the death, it's a week, so from the death of Dibanja's son to the failure at World Cup, the tanker explosion, in fact, 2 tankers, actually one in Lagos and somewhere in another state. There's been back-to-back, crisis incidents that are very unpleasant happening in Nigeria. As a Nigerian who is not even based there, but will definitely return there one day, how do these come to you?
I mean, it's definitely it's a pain, as Nigerian, when I read these things, it just, because I have family back home, right? It means I have to worry about families as well. Dibanja, on the other hand, may his sons rest in peace, like may his soul rest in peace. I know Dibanj very well. When we went on a show, he's an amazing guy, so I can only imagine what he's going through. Based on crisis, I would say this: as Nigerian, we've always been in crisis, but we just believe with all of us coming together to make sure that the country develops more, it will make a huge change. Crisis had always been there. This is just because you heard the ones that happened, and because of social media, everyone knows about it. So it will take prayers, dedication from everyone to help grow the country. So crisis
people are blaming leadership. People say, get your PVC, we need change in leadership, leader. Are you one of those who think that it has anything to do with leadership?
I think so, yes, I'm one of them. But who are the leaders? I am one of them. Everyone else in power is a leader as well. You have to start from being like, as MKO now, who is not extremely established, to eventually become a leader. So in the end, it has to do with all of us. From wherever position that you're in, what difference are you making to impact the growth of the country, right? So even if I would always say yes, the leaders, because they are the ones that we look up to make these changes. But from your small position, what are you doing to get to the leaders who are actually making that we look forward to make these changes? Yeah, so in the end, we're all leaders. That's how I can put it.
I wish we could do more, but she needs to take you away. I don't know if I'll continue from there, because I've not talked about your fashion show. So you've been talking about leadership, the issue about leadership, but I've heard a lot of Nigerians, also talk about, the fact that it is definite. You said leadership is about you, me, and every other person, even though they are leaders there. So what people do in their small ways? I've seen countless recordings, videos from clergy to showbiz to, people who are ordinary people, or we'll say people who just day-to-day activities, constantly saying that the problem is Buhari. Once he's gone, things will change.
Well, like I said, the problem has been corruption. I wouldn't say Buhari. If there was a system in place for Buhari not to be the way he is, then the country would flow. Now, who says that if Buhari leaves, the next president would be better than he is? No, the only difference is we want change. That's all. It's not that the problem is Buhari. There's been problem prior to Buhari, and there's been problem prior to the president before Buhari. So it's a mindset thing. If that mindset can be changed, everything else would work. I'll give you an example. As an artist, MKO, based in Dubai, I have people in Nigeria that I rely on sometimes to do certain things for me, right? If I can't rely on them to be leaders in their small role, how can I rely on them to be leaders tomorrow? So it's a mindset thing. You travel to places like Dubai. Now I'm talking about the leaders. They see the beauty of the place. They enjoy it. They invest in the growth of that country by acquiring properties and all these expensive things which they buy into. But then they come back to Nigeria, and that same mindset goes back. How do I bleed the country dry so that I can go back to Dubai and live the life I want to live? Or how do I go to London and buy the most expensive apartment in, you know, some of the prime locations in the UK? Now, I'm talking about the leaders. Now, the smaller people, they have that same mindset. How do I do this to my smaller person so I can be bigger than that person? And that cycle continues. So if the mindset can be changed for people to understand that with the little you have, you can be comfortable, you can be happy, and you can make a change, you can develop and impact other people to grow and develop. If you provide education, roads, electricity, people can be small business owners. And when you have electricity, you can watch a show like this on TV, the next show comes on, the next show comes on, and you have your time slot when you know you have to do other things. You take a break from TV, you go and do other things that you need electricity to do, right? I have friends who owns barbershops, and I have friends who own, you know, beauty parlors. They need electricity to run these businesses. So you find young entrepreneurs coming up knowing that they have the backings of the government, right? But even in that your small area, what are you doing? Are you paying your staff right? Are you paying them on time? So it's a leadership thing. It's a joint thing. And it's a joint mindset that needs to be changed, right? Doesn't mean I'm perfect anyway, but it just means that if we can all have that mindset to understand that we're all in it together, it will make a huge difference.
It will make a huge difference.
Yeah. On my platform, Art Fusion Night, that's what I do. I mean, I give people opportunities, even at the expense of my own coins, right? But it hasn't. When it grows, will the people with me grow along with me? That is the mindset, right? So I mean, I just think it's a collective leadership problem.
In spite of the feat he's been able to achieve with his career, he still looks up to some Nigerian musicians.
Then collaborations. I like I said initially, I had seen that you had performed with some Nigerians, you know, shared same space and place with them. And I'm asking because I saw that you have a production with, is it Absolute or what's his name? Absolute.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking that if you've been able to share the same set with the likes of D'banj, you know, some other Nigerians, is it difficult to have something to do with them together, or that's not something you want to do now?
Well, that's definitely something I have to do as a Nigerian, as an artist. So I've met quite a few of them. We've talked about collaborations and, you know, and all that. Mainly on the production side. So I had D-Tunes produce one of my tracks, which is Dabo Dabo. D-Tunes was the guy behind Cool Kerry and a bunch of other hit tracks. I had Dr. Frabs produce Dance the Night Away. He produced a bunch of tracks for More Hits Records when they started, prior to becoming what it is now. And I've had conversations with quite a few already known Nigerian artists. We've got some tracks already which we've done, but you know, sometimes you just realize it's probably not the track that suits my identity, so I keep them on hold. Having said that, there are a few that I'll be working with on my album because I have my album project for this year. So
okay,
let's
so
see
it's
how
for this year. You want to drop hints of the people we are likely to, you know, hear on your album?
I'm good friends with DJ Neptunes, even though he's not a singer. So we'll most likely work on something. I'm a huge fan of Simi. Joromi was my best track the last time I was in Nigeria until now. These are sort of people that I would love to work with. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a hint. Files is good. Banky is someone I look up to as well, doing the sort of music which I make. But, you know, we'll see how it goes.
I'm sure you're wondering what he makes of our Ghanaian musicians.
Right, based on the people already You know, I have Sarkodie, who is a legend, but he is super, super, super busy.
Oh.
I hope we're able to line something up whilst I'm still here. But that's one. Stoneboy is amazing. There is that. There is Kwame. Sorry.
Kwame, what was that?
No, Kwame.
Kwame Eugene.
Oh. Yeah, Kwame Eugene. Yeah, and Ms.
Ms. V.
V.
Okay.
I'm quite excited for that one.
Oh, you've done that already?
Well, let's see how it goes. So it's right now. These are the people I'm looking to collaborate with whilst I'm still here, and I only have 3 days left.
Oh.
So let's see how time permits. You know,
to do
but
this is thanks to the internet. You can always be far away and do songs at all. But I want to know why these 4 folks that you've mentioned. Any particular reason? You have Sarkodie, Stoneboy, Mizzy, and Kwame Eugene on your dial.
Well, majority of these guys. And also D Black.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, bear in mind that I've already made some of the songs that I'll be working with them on. So it's about what goes in line with their style. And I know a few people like, you know, I know a few people that I would also like to work with from Ghana that, you know, just because I have limited time, I have to be very strategic with the people I have on my, you know, that I want to work with at the minute. But yeah, so based on the names I've mentioned so far, I already have tracks that I've worked on that whether or not I'm able to finish it whilst I'm still here, they could, you know, jump on it when I've left. So let's see.
Anyway, thank you, MKO, for joining me for this conversation. I have been thrilled by the things that you're doing out there. I'm sure that those who are watching as well will love and have enjoyed this conversation. We've touched on almost everything that matters, you know, from where you're from, where you are, where you're going, and all of that. So thank you so much.
It was a pleasure, and thank you very much. And I want to give...
No, quickly before you go,
Yeah.
have you tasted anything Ghanaian yet?
Ooh.
Tell me.
Really? I've had... I can go on for days, man. I used from the wache to the K&K to the jollof rice. Don't start with Nigerian jollof
Which
and
obviously
Ghanaian
tastes
jollof.
is better than Nigerian jollof.
And the banku. I'm still in Ghana, so when I go off, ask me that question. But yeah, I've been spoiled.
I see.
Yeah.
But this is not your first time, obviously.
No, it's my third.
Okay, so that's how come
yeah.
you're able to mention these foods like that.
Well, even then, I did try them. You
Oh,
know,
I see.
I've got good friends here. You know, from KOD to Twin
Yes, I
Stone
see you
Bag.
wearing
I'm rocking his
1957.
T-shirt. I've got my friend Okua, who is Miss Ghana 2011.
Okay, Ghana's
That's
beautiful.
most beautiful. Yeah, she is brilliant. You know, we've met in Dubai, and you know they're friends with KOD, obviously. So there is a link. You know, so I'm really, 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 really pleased with my Ghanaian friends and support which I'm getting from all of them. It's brilliant.
Thank you. We can't wait for the music from Ms. V, Kwame Eugene, Sarkodie, and Stoneboy that you're hoping to do something with, and D Black as well. Okay. Thank you very much for coming through.
And so today, we have an MKO in the entertainment industry making it big across the globe. What will the next Buzia or Kweju Agri do with his brand? Well, your guess is as good as mine. For JoyNews, Noella Cariniale.
I don't date, I don't bet, and now I just see double. Baby girl, me I like your way, and I know say me I don't date. No me say I know see your face, you got a double.